Hey guys, so today I'm going to make a video to accompany the guide that I made on how to build LineageOS 14.1. So my guide includes instructions for building LineageOS in general, but also gives specific instructions on how to do it for the OP3 or OP3T. So the guide starts off listing all the different things that you need, so you can read through that yourself and make sure that you have everything that you require in order to carry out the build. For this tutorial, I'm going to be running all my commands in Ubuntu on a dual boot setup. So I have this installed alongside my Windows distribution and not inside my Windows distribution in a virtual machine. This just makes the process a little more efficient if you don't have to virtualize everything you do. But if you want to set it up on a VM, maybe you don't want to dual boot or you don't want to risk anything going wrong with that, then you can just set up a VM and it should be fine. But if you want to dual boot, then you can go ahead and find tutorials online on how to install Linux alongside Windows. So I have instructions here on how to set up a VM, and if you want to follow those, then you can. But then if you want to dual boot, you can also use the instructions from this point on here, and that will give you instructions on how to set up your Ubuntu installation once you have it running in your dual boot setup. If you want to dual boot though, just make sure to use a tutorial online, but I won't be covering that in this video now. Now, here's where we're going to start at the preparing to build section. So this is where we're going to start running commands and getting our system ready to build LineageOS 14.1. So first you'll want to open up a terminal. So you can just right click on desktop and click open terminal. And then the first command you're going to want to type in is sudo apt get update. So this updates the list of packages that Ubuntu has that it can update and stores them on the computer so it knows what it can update. And then you're going to type sudo apt get upgrade, and that's going to update everything that needs an update. So it'll come out with a big list of things that need to be updated, like this here on my screen now. And you're going to want to type Y and enter to say yes, that you do want to update it. Now this can take some time, especially if you just installed Linux or if you just installed Ubuntu, and you might want to leave it for a while. You might have more updates than this. This system's already been set up. I just haven't used it for a few weeks, and even then there's still a large amount of updates. So you definitely want to set aside some time for this. As I said before, this is definitely a very time-consuming process if it's your first time. So you'd want to make sure that you have time set out so that if anything goes wrong or if you're not sure of something, that you have time to figure it out, and you don't want to be stopping and starting and stopping and starting, and you might lose track of where you are or what you're doing or something like that. So I'm just going to leave this here now for a few minutes. So that's everything installed there now. So now we're going to run this command here, which is going to install all of the packages that we need in order to build LineageOS. So we can just select all of these by clicking on it and right clicking and clicking copy, and then right click and click paste. I already have all of these installed, so we don't need to install them again. But on your system, you will just need to paste these, click enter, and then he'll ask you for confirmation, and you'll enter Y for yes and click enter, and it'll install all the packages. So next you're going to want to make the directory here your binary directory in your home directory. So you just run this command here, then you do the same for here. So this is where you're going to be putting your repo binary, and this is where you're going to put all of your source code. And then you're going to use this command here, which will download the repo binary. And then you're going to use this command here to ensure that you're able to execute what you just downloaded. It gives you permission to execute what you just downloaded. Next, you're going to have to set up Git. So in order to download the code, Git has to be configured with a username and a user email. So you just use these commands here. I already have mine set up. And then you'll want to cd into the Android system directory, which is where you're going to put your source code. So down here, you're going to be in your directory here already, and then you're going to take the second command here. So what this says, it's going to initiate the repository, and it's going to download LineageOS, obviously, and the branch you're going to download is 14.1. So you're going to select all that, copy it, and paste it into over here and run it. And then you're going to run the command repo sync. So what repo sync does is it'll download everything, all the source code that you need in order to build LineageOS. Now, you haven't downloaded anything specific to your device yet, so this will all come later. So if you're following this guide for a phone other than the OnePlus 3 or the OnePlus 3T, this is where your instructions will become a little bit different, because after this you'll have to download files that are specific to your phone, but you have been able to follow this so far. So at this point, if you're using a phone other than the OnePlus 3 or the OnePlus 3T, you'll need to find specific details on your own device on what commands to use after this. But repo sync, as far as here, this applies to any device you might be building LineageOS 14.1 for. So I'm going to click enter, and it's going to start downloading all the files you need. So I just made a mistake there. Sorry, I wasn't in my directory. So I'm just going to say cd into Android/system. And then I'm going to run repo sync. So if you ever encounter an error like that, where it's saying that the command isn't found or that something's not installed or something like that, just make sure you're not in the wrong folder, and make sure that you're in the root of your source code folder, which is /Android/system in the home directory. So we run that command there now, and it starts fetching all the various pieces of source code that you need in order to build LineageOS. So this will take a long time, and if you have a slower internet connection, this could take anywhere from a day to a week. For me, it took overnight, as far as I can remember. So it took maybe 12 hours or something. So you definitely want patience here. I don't have a very fast internet connection, maybe less than 10 megabits per second anyway. So if you have anything slower than that, it might take longer than that, but just be prepared to wait for a good while this works. So we're just going to leave this here while it downloads the source code and come back to it when it's finished. So as you can see here now, we're finished syncing the LineageOS source code. So now we can move on to getting our device-specific files. So first we're going to make sure that we're in the root of the source code directory. So that's Android/system. We're already here. Then you're going to want to use the command source build/env setup.sh. Select that and paste that in here. That's going to set up all the commands that we're about to use. And then, as I'm building for the OnePlus 3 or the OnePlus 3T, which are currently unified, so you can use the same build for either phone, I can just use the command breakfast OnePlus 3, which will set everything up for building on the OnePlus 3. Now, sometimes this doesn't add all of the repositories we need, so we're going to edit them manually to make sure that they're all there. So this is all the repositories that I currently have. Now, I already have them all in there, but you're going to want to use the list here that I have put here. So this has everything you need. This skips the step of having to pull any binaries or anything from your phone, because as you can see here, all of the proprietary binaries are included on GitHub because someone has put them up here, this user here. So you can just download them all from GitHub directly and be ready to build straight away. So once you have them all placed in this document here, you can just press Ctrl and X, and then it'll ask you to confirm by typing in the letter Y and then press enter. And then you'll have to repo sync again, and that will download all the new files that you just specified in your build doc there. So now you're going to want to enable caching, and this will just help to speed up the speed of your build, but you want to have extra hard drive space if you want to do that. So you just put in the 2 commands here. Then if you have any problems with RAM, for example, it says out of memory error or anything like that, only then try these steps here. So that's where you manually specify how much RAM your system has. That can sometimes help solve the problem. So give that a go if you have any problems with your build. That's your first thing to try if something doesn't work. But everything's working fine for us here at the moment. So we can make sure we're in the root directory, and then brunch 1+3, which is the command to build. And you can just place that in. Just make sure that before you use the brunch command that you've ran the source build env setup.sh command here, otherwise this build command won't work. And then once you have that all ready to go, press enter, and that will start building straight away. Now if you have a faster computer, the first time you do this might take up to an hour, might be more than that if you have a slower computer. Using an SSD also increases the speed of your build a lot. So if you have a mechanical hard drive, it will take about an hour, because I only have a mechanical hard drive, but it'll take considerably less if you have an SSD in your system. And then we'll get back to this here once it's finished. So once you see this step here, you know that the build has nearly finished. What it's doing at the moment is it's packaging everything into the final zip that you can actually flash onto your phone. So once you see this, there's only a few minutes of the build left. And then once you see that green banner there, that means your build has finished properly. So now if you type cd $out, it'll bring you to the folder with your files that you just built. Make sure you capitalize everything, or it'll just bring you back to the root of your home folder. Make sure that you capitalize the word out, and then you'll see that we're in Android system out target product 1+3, or whatever your device is. And if we just say ls, that'll list all of the files, and you can see there the red files are our zip files on the left hand side. So we can get these up in our file explorer now. So if we just go to file manager, go to Android, system, out, target, product 1+3. Now once you're in this folder here, the zip file with that day's date, so whatever day you build it on, its date will be added into the name of the folder. And for instance here, today is the 18th of March 2017. So today's build that I just made now is this one right here. So you can copy this straight to your device over MTP or on a OTG drive if you wish, and flash it straight away, and everything should work fine. If you want to have a look at anything that's in the system folder, everything that's being flashed to your system partition when you flash this build will be in the system folder here. So for example, all of your system apps will be in here. Anything you might need to find or change in there is available to you, but the file that you're probably most interested in is that one here. So that's everything in the guide today, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you need the link to the tutorial that I'm following here on the right hand side, you can find that in the description below. And if you have any suggestions or any requests or anything that you'd like to find out, leave it in the comments below. If you want to find any details regarding your own specific device, I'd recommend going on to the device page for your device on XDA Developers and ask the question there on whatever it is you're looking for, and someone will probably be able to help you, because I won't be able to give advice for every single device if I'm not familiar with it. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.